who brought you RuPaul's Drag Race and $1 Million Listing. This is World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome. You're here at the Wow Report on Radio Andy SiriusXM. I am so excited. It's Tom Campbell. I'm hosting. Our fearless leader, Fenton Bailey, is in Thailand. But joining me this week and every week is Club Kid turned best-selling author, and now a book that's become a movie, James St. James.
Oh my God! Yeah. I'm hiding. I'm on death's doorstep. I'm very sorry.
Each and every week we count down the top 10 things that make us go wow. James has the flu, so that's very happening.
That's
so
my
that's
10,
number
9,
11.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Also joining us is Marc Malkin. Thanks for coming back. Marc is an entertainment reporter. Was just at the Golden Globes. We'll be talking a lot about that.
Good.
And then, if it couldn't get any better than this, Adore Delano.
Oh,
good, Miley.
Danny Noriega is here. Speak right into the microphone, Danny.
Oh my God.
Adore was in the building doing some work for us, and we just
dragged her and threw her.
We told him this was the exit, and we locked her in. We are coming from Hollywood Boulevard. We've pre-taped this one. It's a rainy day. If you hear anything weird on the radio, or if you're watching this on YouTube, there's a lot. We have a canopy, so there's a lot of sort of homeless people taking shelter. So it's very glamorous. Very glamorous.
Hollywood Boulevard. God bless, though. That's perfect.
Very
good.
glamorous.
Yes, we're very happy.
So without further ado, let's start counting down the top 10 things, starting with number 10.
Number 10.
Oh, that's me. Golden Globes. Marc, you were there.
I was.
So fill us in with the facts. I was watching it from home. Did you watch the Golden Globes?
I did watch the Golden Globes, yeah.
Are you a Golden Globe gal?
No, but I seen Lisa Rinna commenting on everybody's dress.
Oh my God, I love that. Your window is Lisa Rinna. I want to talk about Oprah.
Oh, yeah,
and I want to
definitely.
say Oprah for president, because I thought they were fine this year. I love the message. I love that there were black dresses. It felt like a runway challenge on Drag Race.
Yeah.
Everyone wear black.
And see where you're going to have that hint of color.
Yes, a little silver here.
Right.
But Oprah's speech, which we all, and I know news cycles churn very fast, but it's worth stopping and talking about it because it was so inspiring. I was tearing up. You know how it's this whole sexual harassment thing it's been a bitter pill to swallow for some of us because it's
so many of our heroes, so many people that we love, and we've got to let go of.
But the way that Oprah positioned it, I wanted to be part of it. It's there's a new day on the horizon, and thank you.
Well, it was basically what Barack Obama's speech was in 2004.
Yes.
Remember?
Or Morning in America.
Yeah. Yes,
Reagan.
exactly. And it's sort of positioned where all of a sudden everyone went they gave you a double take and thought maybe she's the one that can beat Trump.
Right. Yeah.
And Gayle, to her credit, Gayle could have shot down those rumors. And if you watch the CBS show this morning, she did not.
I watched.
And I have a feeling Oprah gave her permission.
That's what I'm saying. There's no way. If Oprah didn't want if Oprah didn't want Gayle to say something, Gayle would not say something.
Stedman said something to my friend Amy over at the LA Times and said, if the people want her.
Yeah.
Right. But there's this backlash. Not another celebrity from my liberal friends.
Well, but to that, it is true that I don't want a plumber doing my vasectomy. I don't want a dentist to do my carpentry. I like politicians doing the idea is better politicians, not reality stars.
But
she's Oprah.
How much experience did Barack Obama have before he became president?
He was a senator, and he had been a community organizer, and he had spent his whole life working towards helping people, whereas it's something that not Donald Trump did.
Oprah has. But not in. She hasn't had to answer to anyone being a public figure in that way.
Right, which is where Trump got into trouble.
Right.
But I do sort of think that the answer is that that Oprah says, I'm coming in for 4 years to help fix things, and then I'm out. And that gives you 4 years to find someone else. But you don't go in for you come in saying it's
I do think we have this cult of celebrity that surrounds Donald Trump. That is his magic power. That's how he's sort of allowed to exist. And that you need to fight it, not with Kamala Harris, who I think is great, but with another cult of celebrity to
But there was really good commentary on CNN last night, and they were talking about how the Democrats against Trump basically say, how could you have him? He doesn't have any experience. And that's going to be thrown right back in the Democrats' face and say, Oprah doesn't have any experience either. So now who has the experience is Trump, where they said, just keep Oprah on the sidelines, and how she delivered the vote to Barack.
Yeah, she didn't show up for Hillary so much.
I wish Trump would. I wish Oprah would do what Hillary did and run for Senate, do 4 years in the Senate, and then do something, and then in 8 years.
We have no time for that. Can I put you on the spot?
Yeah, what's up?
Are you registered to vote?
I'm not. Well, yeah, I am now. I
You
did
are?
at Mom's. Yeah, I did.
All right,
Yeah.
that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I was on tour, but we got it done.
We're going to keep on top of you. And would you vote for Oprah Winfrey for president?
I don't know. I'm kind of lost right now in our country. Like, I mean, like we're having our shit ran by the Apprentice hosts, and it's kind of freaking me out as like a young person to vote. But again, like just my personal opinion, I don't really want a celebrity running.
Exactly.
Then I'm going to take that down as a yes. I would vote for Oprah.
I would because she's Oprah. They say like Oprah like breathes and you want to listen to her.
Listen,
Like,
if Oprah is against Trump, I think we all have the answer.
right, right.
You know,
I'm more pro Oprah than that, but we're going to move on to our next Golden Globe story at number 9.
Number 9.
I wanted to talk a little bit about Kirk Douglas coming out. I thought that it was an interesting moment. He's 101 years old. I don't know if you saw that. They wheeled him out. Catherine Zeta-Jones came out and spoke a little bit. Yeah, his daughter-in-law. And he sort of sat there, and there was they honored him for breaking the in the 1950s
the blacklist.
The blacklist, and how he rehired Dalton Trumbo and gave
Spartacus.
him for Spartacus. And it was a big moment in the 1950s where all these people had been blacklisted for being communists, and he stood up for them and said that no, they weren't communists, and I'm going to hire them again.
It was a Red Scare in the 50s. It was crazy. Like the country, like the way we're anti-terrorists now, we're anti-communism.
Right. Yeah. Yes. And so Kirk Douglas did this really great thing by hiring people back again and breaking the blacklist. And so he was honored for that.
Yeah.
But
he had a stroke many years ago. He survived it, but it's hard to understand him.
Yeah. And if they would have just wheeled him out, I'm sure there was a conversation saying they want to honor you. Would you like to go? Would you like to be on stage?
Right.
And he said, yes, I would. And they said, well, why don't we let Catherine speak for you, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure that was all that. But then he decided to start speaking, and it was sort of...
He kind of wasn't mic'd.
He wasn't mic'd, you couldn't understand one word he was saying, and everyone was trying very hard to be nice, but it was an awkward moment.
It's an awkward moment. It's an awkward moment for TV.
Yeah,
you know,
because it could have...
Do you want to start, putting, subtitle,
right, and that's
right.
That's
important.
Right.
Yeah,
I was translating for the group I was watching with.
Were you?
But and also I went onto Reddit the next day, and you never go on Reddit. We all know never ever go onto Reddit.
Oh yeah.
But apparently there was some sexual harassment in the 1940s and 50s that he was involved with Natalie Wood.
Not sexual harassment.
Yeah,
for sure. But it's a different time. There is a new day on the horizon.
Yes. Right.
And I think part of it is we have to let the past be the past and move forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, do we crucify Kirk Douglas for living in a different era when certain behavior was
Well, yeah, I don't even know that we can do that.
But then when you have this, it's, a new horizon. We're all wearing black,
and that's when you bring him. I know.
You put him on the stage,
and it is a gray area because he's done a lot of good and he's survived,
like everybody on Earth.
And he's made some great movies, and then he's also done some bad things. And then, do you celebrate the good and throw away the bad, or do you remember the bad and throw away?
And then remember what Michael said, how he got mouth. I can't even believe
his son Michael Douglas has mouth cancer from giving cunnilingus.
Oh God!
What is that? What's cunnilingus?
I would hug you if I wouldn't get you sick.
It's sort of like a blowjob on a girl.
Okay. What is it? Fellatio? Is that how you say it?
That's a fancy way to say blowjob, and cunnilingus is the fancy way to say lean into this. You have to pretend you're making love. That you're filleting.
Yeah, you have to fillet the microphone here.
I will just live with this. A little note about that. I thought the most awkward thing was Catherine Zeta-Jones' see-through panty gown that was exactly head level with Kirk Douglas. And so the two shot was like her hoo-ha and his ha-he. Anyway,
I missed that.
More golden.
There was a cunnilingus infomercial.
So let's not sparing a moment. More Golden Globes at number 8. Marc Malkin.
Number 8.
Reese Witherspoon, who I just
dominated the evening.
Dominated the evening. She's becoming one of the most powerful women in Hollywood. Big Little Lies is huge.
Yes.
So good.
And they're doing season 2.
Yeah.
So they just won Best Miniseries. Then she's producing and starring in, I think, with Jennifer Aniston about morning shows.
Yes, on Amazon or Netflix or something.
I think it's an Amazon. I feel like it's an Amazon, maybe.
But it's
not,
huge deal.
And now they also just announced that she's producing a starring vehicle miniseries for Octavia Spencer. But my thing is with Reese is I think it's time for Legally Blonde 3.
Yeah.
It's time for Elle Woods to be president.
Oh.
Yes.
It's really the
Oprah
time.
for president. No.
Elle Woods
for president.
But can I just be the party pooper here for 1 second?
That's why we invite you every week, James.
Come on here with your flu. Just do it with your flu.
This week it's because he's sick. What was last week about, mister?
But the thing is, because Oprah's speech was so powerful, and Reese introduced Oprah, and it was sort of like cuddly unicorns and stuffed animals, and how when she hugged, she was the best thing in the world, and it was like sort of a silly little speech that didn't have the gravitas that Oprah had.
Okay,
and
then who do you think should have introduced Oprah?
Gail.
Who has the gravitas?
I don't know. I don't know. It felt tonally it was wrong from what came afterwards.
It was marketing for A Wrinkle in Time.
Oh,
A Wrinkle in Time.
And in terms of Reese's actions, she is one of the most powerful women in Hollywood, if not the most powerful. But when she speaks, I feel like I'm watching Legally Blonde 3.
Right.
I am.
Right.
Yeah, I missed the Golden Globes, man. Now I'm gonna have to go on YouTube and watch this because I love her.
Are you a Reese Witherspoon fan?
I am. I like her a lot. I think I love what is it? Little Big Lies.
Big Little Lies.
Yeah.
I need to watch that. I really need to download.
so good.
Yeah.
Oh, you would like it.
Yeah.
It's a slow burn, but it pays off nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Election is my favorite, I think, of all time.
What about some other
That one of her-
Cupcake.
Yes.
That's the first thing. Tracy Glick. We're all Tracy Glick. Was there any other little nuggets of Golden Globe? Something you didn't report, or something we shouldn't know?
Well,
Mark's about to lose his career right here.
This isn't airing till Friday, right?
Right. Yeah.
Oops. How's that for live? Anyway, you like this one. This is a good one. So Barbra Streisand did Best Picture Drama, right?
Yeah, I remember.
Right, you remember, right?
Yeah.
So apparently she had laryngitis the whole week. And the HFPA, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, who puts on the Golden Globes, were very worried she wasn't going to make it. So
she was late, by the way. There were 2 empty chairs there for part of the evening.
I mean, she's Barbra time.
Okay.
So they were so nervous, so they sent her flowers every day the week leading up to the Golden Globes with a little card with lyrics from her songs. Oh. I don't know how that cures laryngitis, but
that's what we just send little notes to James.
When somebody send me a little flower.
There's some water for you right here. That's our start.
So I don't know how that cures laryngitis, but I guess it was just to...
Yeah.
That's nice.
Perk her up a little.
But she has all those roses in her own garden. Doesn't she have like the Barber rose?
Oh, she has everything in the house. All right. I think we have covered the Golden Globes. They were very important this year. And we're going to take a little break. But before we do, we'd like to do a little trivia question.
Okay.
Hear the question now, answered after the break. Blake, you're in charge of the trivia question.
Yes. What movie at the Golden Globes has been nominated the most and won the most?
In all of time. In all time.
In all time.
75 years, by the way, the Golden Globes.
75 years. Which movies got the most nominations and won the most of the Golden Globes? We will find out the answer to this. Plus, we'll continue.
Is it the same movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Plus, we'll continue to count down the top 10 things that make us go, wow. Right after this short break.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report.
We are back, the Wow Report on Radio Andy, SiriusXM. I'm Tom Campbell. I'm here this week with James St. James, with Marc Malkin, and with Adore Delano. Hi. And of course, Blake, our millennial intern, is here as always. Hi, Blake.
Hi.
A producer.
Yeah.
Intern sounds better. It sounds like you're really way up on the chain. You've done a lot.
I was there 10 years ago, though.
Yeah, well, the 10 years internship.
I was the outturn.
You're the outturn. Blake, you gave us a trivia question before the break, which was, we were talking about the Golden Globes last break, and in the 75 years of the Golden Globes,
75 years.
One movie has received the most nominations and wins. What is it? James, what do you think?
I'm going to go with something like easy, like E.T. or Sound of Music.
You can pick one.
E.T.
Mark?
Schindler's List.
Oh.
The Color Purple.
Oh.
I'm going to say Titanic.
It was actually La La Land.
What?
How did we...
It was nominated for seven
That's
nominated for
right.
7, won 7.
I've never
Are
seen
you sure
it.
it wasn't Moonlight? Just kidding.
All right, Blake, you stumped us. You stumped us.
Have you
And
guys
that
seen
isn't
La
like,
La
I'm so glad we just went back 75 years. It was last year.
that was the
That was the
I know.
trick.
I was gonna say it was in the last 5 years, but you were already stumped.
All right. So we are counting down the top 10 things that made us go, wow, this week. And now we're at number 7.
Number 7.
All right. I wish Fenton were here because he's better with the political stuff. But I have Fire and Fury, the book. Are you?
Oh yeah, the book.
Reading
I haven't read it because, by the way, you don't need to read it at this point because everything is out there.
My Twitter feed is nothing but quotes and excerpts.
And my
what this
husband
is?
has
No,
an
what is
audiobook.
David Wolf.
Michael Wolf.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Michael Wolf, an author, was sort of allowed access to the White House this past year. Just
For
sort of
4
like
months.
sit outside the office, talk to everybody there. And he has written this kind of Kitty Kelly tell-all book.
Kitty Kelly?
About, yes, thank you, for a certain age group.
I was gonna say,
Lost on a dark. But no, it's a juicy gossip book about what it was really like.
and everybody is, and all the people surrounding Trump are talking shit about him, saying that he has the intellect of a 3-year-old, that he has
He's a child.
that he's a child, that everybody hates him,
And then maybe there's something wrong because all he does is repeat himself for like 10 minutes.
that he's maybe got some Alzheimer issues.
So the author got this information from the people that are surrounding.
Yes,
Yes,
But he
and
was
from
sitting
Trump.
in the White House.
He was like in a chair outside the office waiting for
But
someone.
It's very
Hey, can I
House of
interview
Cards.
you?
It's like House
And
of
see now,
Cards.
but Trump is saying, "Oh, I don't know who he is. He's saying he has access, but I never saw him before in my life, and he's lying and da 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 da." But everybody is saying that it's true, but except for Trump is going hard trying to stop this from.
And I'm not a
making-
big reader, but I felt my sort of the duty to buy it because there's also WikiLeaks released the book on PDF, which is a shady thing to do, right? Because WikiLeaks always seems to be on the Trump side, so they're trying to diminish book sales
But
by
it's too
leaking
late.
the book.
So too late.
So-
the book
Yes.
sold out.
It's already on
quickly.
fire.
Lucky for me, I'm so stupid. I bought the regular reading book and the audiobooks. I bought it twice, so I made up for it.
Well, I do remember that when we first started hearing about it about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and the Trump team tried to get it stopped.
Cease and desist. They said
That's
cease
what
and
he
desist.
always
Yeah, they
does.
said
I'm gonna
cease and
sue. I'm gonna
gonna
sue.
And to their credit, what they did was they released it the next day.
They did
it was supposed to be
early.
2 more weeks, and they said, "Screw you,
Yeah.
we're pretty confident in this," and so they released it the next day.
And they
Try
said it
it.
was literally like in Washington, D.C., it was like lines for Harry Potter, but lines to get a book.
Yeah.
But I so encourage. I've been walking a lot more lately, and so I've been using my headphones like the kids. I know you do this all the time, but I never do. And I was listening to the book on a long walk to Whole Foods and a long walk back, and it is captivating. It is the writer's style. He's being criticized for this, but it's
Yeah.
like he uses incredible adjectives and he sucks you in.
Wait, is this the same Michael Wolff that did the supermodel book in the 90s?
No, that's Michael Gross.
Michael Gross.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, I'm sorry.
But the same.
in the same genre.
But
Closed.
and in a weird way, I feel like it humanizes Trump. It sort of explains him in a way that he isn't just pure evil. He's done, which except we
Well,
know.
no, but I don't think we've never thought that he was pure evil. We thought that, like Bush, we thought the people he surrounded himself
Yeah.
were evil, but he's just adult.
But
and
even that,
this,
they're kind of
this
like
just sort of.
the things we hate about him now as president, we loved about him as like, everyone in New York was like,
Right.
there's that billionaire who like will say anything, he'll
Right,
sell
right,
anything. But he was in all the
But we
circles.
hated him. New Yorkers have always hated
He
him.
was never accepted by the.
But he sat at tables next to Gayle King, and he knew Oprah. You know what I mean? Like he was part
But
of
there
his.
were always famous stories in New York about how he would walk red carpets with Ivana, and they would go to these big charity balls, and they would get their picture taken, and they would be in the
leave.
paper, and then they would cancel the check
Oh,
the
for
next
sure.
day. And that was like,
But
he
that-
would put like $1 million check and then cancel it, and
Right.
like just to get it in,
Right.
in the newspaper.
But they use an adjective. He's unfatigable. Like he will not stop selling. He will not change his mind. He'll get hit, and he doesn't even know he's been hit. He just keeps going and going and going. And there was something boorish and kind of great about that Donald Trump when he was a TV star. When he was
when he wasn't causing nuclear war.
Correct,
Right.
correct. And so they talk about that, and they also talk about in the first chapter how no one thought they were going to win.
Yeah, and Melania cried
They did
when
not think
he
they were
did.
going to win. And so much of this Russian stuff is because they weren't thinking about the long run. Like, they always deal dirty.
Right.
They always talk to people. They're like, none of this is ever going to come out because it's
Right.
never,
Yeah.
like, they're not thinking like presidents. They're thinking like the Trumps who do
They have
everything
no
in their tower.
experience, right.
Zero
So
experience.
scary.
Right.
And zero, you know, and even how Kelly Conway didn't think they were going to win. And so, I don't know, it just puts it in perspective. And that's why when we talk about Oprah, it's like, because at one point they were thinking, okay, we have Donald, who's a great messenger. You know, whatever you say about the way he speaks, it draws in a
Right.
lot of people, and,
Yeah.
it's hard not to listen to.
Right.
We still do. He goes, so we'll just make him kind of the figurehead, and then we'll create a government that at one point Donald Jr. and Eric were going to run.
Well, no, but we know now also from the book that there was a conversation between Jared and Ivanka, and that the two of them have decided that Ivanka was going to be the first to run, and that she was going to be the
Yes.
first female president.
But
and
they-
it was decided among them.
But
that,
he ran out of people that he knew. No one would work for him, so he was going to take his whole family, which we know about. But it was like Laura Ingraham or something got to him because he doesn't listen, and she's like, you can't bring in your family; it looks bad. So he started bringing people in. But I mean, they really are incompetent. They were people who were not qualified for the job, who are doing the best they can. So I have to think that Oprah would bring in, like, it's George W. Bush wasn't
Oprah,
particularly a
listen.
great president, but he brought in all of his father's cronies and they ran
girl,
things.
you are proselytizing for Oprah today.
Oprah could bring in
aren't you?
Oprah could bring in Obama's people.
But I think what we're doing,
Go work for
but
the-
what we're doing is we're just thinking that it could only come down to Oprah and between Oprah and Trump. So I think what your thing is, if it's that, of course, everything
Right.
Oprah said. But I think if like there's another Barack Obama like person, are we going to be that high for Oprah Winfrey when people say like she doesn't have experience sitting down with North Korea?
You've got to speak to the people, and Oprah speaks to the people, and Donald speaks to the people. We need someone who
But
can
that's why,
but
that's why I think Oprah should stay on the side. She could stay on
She
the
can
sideline,
help someone. She
not
can help
become
someone.
a president.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to deal with all of that mucky muck.
You know,
Her and Gail could go on their camping trips, and no one will bother them.
You know,
I
you
feel
also
like
see.
I've lost this argument twice this show, and I will be bringing it up in the next segment, just so you know.
But you already see Kamala Harris being like getting that Hillary treatment, saying that she's too shrill. I don't like listening to her. Like
Yes.
that whole, she's hard
She's
to
too
look
smart.
at.
And we
Yeah.
just hate politicians, period, which is why we should have Oprah and a non-politician. But that's the final word. No, let's continue our countdown with number 6, James.
Number 6.
I did want to just talk a little bit about this guy, Alex Lawther, who's an actor on the scene today, and he's really fantastic, and I just want to gush about him for a second. He was, you might recognize him, American audiences recognize him. He was the young Benedict Cumberbatch in The Imitation Game, okay? He was also in an episode of Black Mirror. It was the episode where he was being chased, he and a guy were being chased, and it turns out they were kiddie porn. They were watching kiddie porn. It was season 3.
Oh, I haven't seen 3 yet. I only seen
Oh,
season
okay.
2.
It's a very famous
Spoiler
episode
alert.
where I'm sorry, spoiler alert. But it's been a year.
Who can remember?
But he's very famous because he's this teenager, and they think that he thinks he was just caught jacking off throughout the whole episode.
Oh, yes,
and then at the very end, you realize that he
Yes.
was jacking off to kiddie
Yes,
porn.
I know
trying to think if I
exactly what
understand
you're talking
So
about.
that's him, and
Okay.
he's having a really spectacular week this week. He's my movie Freak Show is opening up in New York tomorrow. This is by Friday. This
So
will be on Wednesday.
exciting.
Go video on demand Friday. So he's the star of that, and he's really fantastic. He plays this little drag queen who in high school who gets bullied and everything like that. And then I watched. Also this week he has on Netflix. It's The End of the Fucking World, which just premiered, and it's a series. It's a British series that came out, and he plays this like straight guy. This sort of like he thinks that he's 18 years old. He thinks he's in high school. He thinks he might be a psychopathic killer, and so he's decided to start looking for someone to kill. And meanwhile, there's a girl, and she sort of falls in love with him, and so they start going out, and then it's sort of like this girl meets psychopath, and she thinks that they're in love, and he keeps trying to kill her, and every time they start to have sex, he brings out the knife, and then something happens.
Is it a comedy or
it's
drama?
a comedy? No,
Okay.
it's a very, very dark black comedy, and it's so interesting to see him go from this like gay drag queen to being this sort of straight psychopath, and he's really just got something, and I just want to sort of like tell everybody how fantastic he is.
I want to watch that.
Check this
That
out.
sounds really
now.
good.
Yeah, no, it's really fantastic, and then it turns into like sort of a road trip. It's sort of like a Bonnie and Clyde thing where they're on the run, and it's really fun.
Natural born killers.
It is. It's all natural born killers. Yeah.
Tom's assistant, who's super hip on all that, said she loves the show.
Good.
Savannah.
Savannah. And let's move down on our top 10 list to number 6, Mark Malkin.
Number 5.
this week I went to the premiere of American Crime Story, The Assassination of Gianni Versace.
Ooh, hot ticket.
Yes, very hot ticket. The show is, they showed the first episode. It's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, it's Ryan Murphy.
I was gonna
so
say.
It's very melodramatic. It's over the top.
What?
Right, but Versace was over the top and
Sure. The person who plays Donatella is
Penelope Cruz.
Oh, really?
So I was a little nervous. I'm like, how are they going to do it? Because if you've ever really listened to Donatella talk, you do not know what she's saying. Her
I just know what Maya Rudolph when she did on Saturday Night Live. That's all I know.
So when you first see Penelope Cruz, you're like, is she doing Donatella for SNL? Because it's just so iconic, and she's such a puppet to begin with in real life. No matter what you do, you're going to be like doing some kind of drag version of her.
Right.
And Penelope is great. She has like this little lisp that goes along with it. Edgar Ramirez plays Gianni. He looks so much like him.
I like Edgar Ramirez, yeah.
And then playing Andrew Cunanan.
It's Darren Criss, right?
Cunanan.
Yeah.
Darren Criss from Glee.
He's so hot, so handsome.
Yeah, he's so adorable and he's so sweet, and it's really interesting to see him as this total psycho, because I kind of forgot that, oh, that's right, he was a serial killer. He wasn't just Versace's killer. He had killed like four people beforehand.
Does 4 make you a serial killer? Is it 3 or 4? What makes you a serial killer?
Maybe
what year were you born?
89.
Okay, do you remember this murder at all?
No.
You don't remember when Versace was killed?
It was 97.
It was 97.
Oh, right. So you would have been 8.
Your mother raised you right. You shouldn't have known those things.
But do you remember where you were when you heard he was dead? I remember.
I think I was in an airport. I was in an airport.
Totally remember
where were you?
I was shopping at Barney's. Perfect.
Did you have any Versace in your hands?
And I've never worn Versace. It was never. Look at me. Versace was never my thing.
Do you know the story at all?
No.
Oh, so you get to watch it all new.
I'm gonna watch it because Ryan Murphy's a genius. I love everything.
Did you watch the O.J. Simpson?
I did not. I watched the Betty Davis and.
Oh, yeah, fabulous.
That was amazing.
So Ryan is teaching the children.
Yeah.
He's teaching the children. I have a dirty story about Andrew Cunanan.
You slept with Andrew Cunanan?
No, I think I may have told the story. But I was in New York working on a show there, and I was dating someone. We were like totally into each other, but we were also very like liberal and open-minded.
Yeah, open.
And he had been away, and I was like, you know what? Tonight would be the perfect night to hire an exotic.
An escort?
Maybe.
I love
If that's legal. But and it really wasn't like out of desperation. I was just like, this is like, I don't want a pizza. Nope. I don't want to see a movie.
You want a hooker.
I was staying in a hotel, and they came, and he showed up. Oh, we have a little siren going by. Hollywood Boulevard, ladies and gentlemen. So he came by, and he was so grateful because it was the day that they captured Andrew Cunanan, who was a high-class hooker.
Right.
And he said no one had called him during the entire thing.
Oh, look at
and
you.
by the way,
you gave new life to a hooker.
This is a detail I probably shouldn't give. No, I shouldn't. He was like, how many times do you want me to have an orgasm in this hour? And I was, because that was his gimmick. And I was like,
hot.
I don't care. Like, I want
You should have said like 8, and then like you got the stopwatch.
2 more.
Hurry up.
Oh my God. I think I have relatives that listen to the show. That was too much.
I've done that before too,
That was
believe
too much
me.
information.
I told my mom about the sex house. It's all good. Like,
I heard about you in a sex.
yeah, they took
just
a picture of
recently.
me the other day. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Yeah.
Why?
No, it was like I was getting head at a bathhouse, and they took a picture of me like while I was in the
They
patio.
came over and said, "Can we get? Oh, Dorothy, can we
Yeah.
get a picture of you?" And you were like, "Okay."
I was like, okay.
Where did that appear?
That's so funny. I have heard this story around
No,
the city.
I go there a lot, and it happens a lot.
Is this Flex?
No, this is the Zone.
Oh, the Zone.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, let's bring
It's
this
still
back
popping.
around.
Yeah, still popping.
Right, we're talking about,
Oh, yeah. So, anyway, Ryan Murphy.
who can make the Ryan Murphy show gayer? We can.
But do you remember, though, when it happened and the wanted posters went up in New York?
Yeah, I do remember.
Okay,
It was
everyone,
exactly right.
and everyone sort of had a story like, oh, I know someone who knows him. Oh, someone had a sighting of him in P-Town.
But
And
now-
he was like a gay serial killer.
But I do want to ask,
gay serial
did you
killer.
see Ricky Martin in his white Speedo, or is that later on in the show?
Later on in the show.
But do we see Ricky?
We see Ricky, and Ricky has said that we actually see Ricky's tushy for the first time on film.
You told that to Ellen.
Yeah. So
Exclusive to Ellen.
right, it's his tushy because she's so into men's tushies.
Yeah, she loves the tush.
So you see him in his tennis whites that are covered in blood. It's sort of like Jackie O kind of, the kind of Jackie O moment. But then did you know the Versace family came out with a statement and said it's a work of fiction. They don't support it.
Yes.
which is really interesting because I think I've heard that Penelope met with Donatella. And you're watching it, and in the first episode, they're already getting into the dirty stuff that.
Well, obviously they
Versace
have
was
their
into.
own.
Like what?
They have their own.
Like when I don't want, like, it's not
Go
a
ahead.
spoiler alert, but when the cop is talking to Ricky Martin's character, his lover, the cop is like, he doesn't know about gay people. We're like, South Beach? Okay, whatever. But he's like, what do you mean by partner? How are you his partner? Were you paid to be his partner? Did you pay people to come here and have sex with Gianni? Sometimes. So it's getting into that.
no.
And then,
I
and
admitted
then
that I occasionally pay for a little hoo-ha.
Right.
Yeah.
But my favorite part, I think, it's so stupid, but my favorite part is, so when Donatella's coming to Miami, there's a shot of a private plane, jet, and the stairs are just coming down real slow. And you just know it's her, and then she just sticks her head out. And she's in a black leather morning outfit, I guess. So it's really good. I'm really into it. We're really, really into it.
Feels like the perfect subject and the perfect producer. This
When
is
does
like,
it air?
Yes. It starts January 17th.
Yeah, I'm
next
gonna
week.
get into that.
Yeah, it's really. So last night at the party, I thought the party would be a little more like Versace'd. But they did have gold.
I saw boys in gold go-go
and
shorts.
just standing there and walking around the bar. But they didn't have a lot of people in Versace, except E.J. Johnson. He was in Versace.
Yeah, there's a budget. All right, so that is the Assassination of Gianni Versace, which is coming out
January 17th, FX.
on FX. All right, we're going to take a little break. And before we do, Blake is in charge of the trivia questions. What do you got for us?
I have. During high school, Ryan Murphy was the president of which actor or actress's fan club?
Good question. We'll find out the answer and more when we come back on the Wow Report. You're listening to Radio Andy, SiriusXM.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Wow Report. I'm Tom Campbell here with the soon-to-be-dead James St. James.
Oh my God, I'm
I feel bad that we
dying.
insisted you come today
know.
because you really are having a moment. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for coughing all over everyone.
Thank you for your service.
This is the day that I'm asked to come in. too.
I'm also here with
know.
Mark Malkin, the soon-to-be very sick Mark Malkin, and our very special guest star, Adore Delano. Thank you for being here. Now, before the break, Blake asked us a trivia question, which he will repeat. Ryan Murphy.
During high school, Ryan Murphy was the president of which actor or actress's fan club?
I have an idea, but you
I
start.
have an idea. Jessica Lange.
Jessica Lange.
I'm saying Betty Davis.
Who, James?
A woman named Betty
Make a
Davis.
guess.
She was a big star in the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
He's very touchy. Don't give me that face, Blake. Just because you're off camera, you can't roll your eyes like that. Not today. Not with James the Sick. Okay,
Michelle Pfeiffer.
good answer. I'm going to say the great actress Olivia Newton-John.
Oh, I love her.
It was actually Meryl Streep.
That's so classy.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right.
yeah, she's like the best actress.
I guess they had like trading cards and stuff. Like, ooh, have you got?
I got a Meryl for a Betty.
Yeah,
Like,
and I've got it for Silkwood. Okay, we are counting down the top 10 things that made us go wow this week, and we are up to number 4.
Number 4.
I got a question for everybody. Are we ready for Roseanne?
Yes.
I want to hear from you.
I loved that freaking show my entire life. Like, I loved Darlene. Like, she was like me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like a gay man, but like a lesbian trapped in a gay man's body, and she just spoke to my spirit. So I'm very excited to see what they do with her character and her kids and all that stuff.
She has the gender fluid child. Isn't
Yes.
that?
Yes.
You have
Yes.
exactly my initial reaction when I heard about this a few months ago.
Me too.
Because I also remember, like, what's the first gay kiss
Yeah,
on network television on Roseanne?
Sandra Bernhard.
Yes, and
Roseanne.
Morgan Fairchild.
There's the Marielle Hemingway one
Marielle
too.
Hemingway.
Right.
And I remember going to like a fundraiser. I think my friend from college, Rob Eulin, was executive producer at the time, and there was a big thing at the Abbey. It was like the Ellen moment. You know, it was
Right.
like it was
Oh,
one
yeah.
of these big moments where, oh my God, someone's listening to us.
Was it when she got kissed in the bar?
Yes.
Right,
Yes!
that, right.
Yes.
Is that Marielle Hemingway or Sandra Bernhard?
It was Marilyn Hemingway because they had to bring in somebody hot
Right,
to
of
like
course.
make it okay.
Right.
And our dear Sandra from Radio Andy was on that. So, you know, and
With
and
Morgan Fairchild.
she was so
That's
that
her
was-
girlfriend.
Right, that's
Yeah,
your girlfriend.
But it was such liberalness and it was such intelligence on television.
Right.
But have you heard?
I know, and I just figured this out. Somebody told me at a party the other day that she's a Trump supporter.
And
right?
so
Yeah.
is Roseanne on the show.
Stop.
Well, I just read about that today on Entertainment Weekly.
Yes, I read the same thing, and it makes kind of sense that she is that blue collar worker that Trump could have turned. That sort of makes
it sort
sense.
of makes a little bit of sense that the Connors would be in. Yeah, exactly.
I have to be truthful. It makes me not want to watch it.
Same. No, they cheated taxes. They don't do that. No.
Yeah.
I
mean, the show for me was like my childhood.
Same.
Like Roseanne was my mother.
Yeah,
same.
and now
same exact
it's
kind of
Logo
woman.
TV today. They run a lot of it.
I wonder what Darlene's character is going to say about Donald Trump.
For sure.
Jackie, the sister, is a Clinton supporter. So there's a shot of them. They release a still, and she's wearing like a Women's March hat. So that's where the fight is happening.
If Roseanne is a Trump supporter and Roseanne is the executive producer, writer, and director of the show and the star, then she's going to have the last word, and Trump is going to have the last word.
It's sort of true, or they'll skip over it. I mean, it is interesting to think that they might give Darlene like if they could do different points of view, that would be kind of fascinating.
But I don't think Roseanne is one to give up her pulpit.
Yeah, she was recently at the press the TCA where they talked to all the press, and she was a little obnoxious. I
defensive,
worked in defensive. I remember at HBO, she did a comedy special in the late 80s that became so big she got the show. And I was working very low level around her during the time she was with Tom Arnold. And I couldn't help but think at the time, this is probably true with all celebrities, but I was young, like a woman with the temperament of a 5-year-old rules Hollywood. Like we were all bending over backwards.
Like Trump.
Yeah.
So there you go. So maybe they are two pieces in a pod. But
I imagine, what is it on? It's ABC,
it's
right?
ABC. Yeah. It's a big deal.
I imagine ABC's kind of freaking out about what she's been doing, but at the same time, does that mean Trump supporters are now going to watch?
Well, I can't help but think that the day after she had her big pro-Trump speech and all that stuff, that everybody associated with the show was probably freaking the fuck out. They were probably like, "Oh my God, she's just destroyed everything." But by the same token, she might have brought in people who would have not have.
But remember how she was crucified for singing the national anthem by the way? And now it's just funny how our allegiances go back and forth on both sides. All right, so Roseanne is coming to ABC. Will you watch? Won't you watch? That's your decision. We are now to number 3, James St. James.
Number 3.
Sex robots are coming to destroy the world! Oh my God!
James's topic.
What's a sex robot?
Okay, now here's the story. It was in
So when
news.
you go to that sex club the next time,
You don't have to go alone. You don't have to go alone.
There was an article in Newsweek about a week ago saying that cyber security experts are really worried about the future because it turns out that sex toys can be easily hacked. And it all started a couple months ago when there was the first teledildonic dildo, a butt plug, okay? Yes, teledildonic butt plug that was remote controlled by the phone, which meant that you could be in San Francisco, I can be in New York.
Right.
You call me, I put the butt plug in, and you say, "Baby, are you ready for me to be, vibrate?" Yeah, and you start vibrating from San Francisco.
Right.
So what someone did was they decided to just joke around, and they decided to hack into the butt plug and just start it vibrating at awkward moments, like at the airport and all this stuff. And so they realized that the backdoor security system of butt plugs and everything, there's absolutely no security. There's no cybersecurity on it, which means scientists were starting to theorize that as sex robots start getting more and more advanced and they start moving their arms and articulating their arms and legs and everything like that, that you could theoretically give one a knife and tell it to hack into it while they're having sex with someone and get them to start killing people.
this is an episode of Black Mirror.
No. But even beyond that, once they start to have AI, and you could have someone who is paralyzed, okay, and he's hooked up to like an AI that's helping him, do things. And if the guy starts to have bad thoughts about somebody, the robot that's hooked up to his brain isn't going to realize that that's not an initiative to go and murder people. So you could have paralyzed people sending robots of sex robots.
So it's not necessarily just sex robots that could become mass killers. It could be any robot.
Well, I imagine like that NASA and some of the other people, they have more involved cybersecurity. But what we have right now is with sex toys.
What about a Roomba?
Well,
Could that kill you? Could it just suck you to death, this vacuum, and bump up against
What's a
you? And bump
Roomba?
up? That's that little vacuum cleaner that goes around. Roomba,
yeah. Oh,
Roomba.
yeah. I never know how it like knows how to do that.
Well, and
'Cause
it's
it just
just
bumps
straight
into
through your neck
things.
now.
I'm scared. You know, there's. Oh no, I shouldn't go there. But
Say
yeah,
yes,
I
you
should.
can. It's too
Okay.
late.
No, there's chatterbait. It's like basically like.
I love chatterbait.
Yeah, you can tip like the guys and like the butt plug like vibrates on like the tip like on the
Hold on.
sound.
So it's a website.
What?
It's an adult website.
Yeah.
Where you go
You
on.
watch people-
And people are camming themselves.
Yes.
They're doing this voluntarily.
Yes, and when you tip them, like it activates like the
Right in the moment.
right in the moment. Yeah, depending on how much you tip them, it's like that's how fiercer it gets. It's pretty
So
great.
like you could really.
Yeah, like give them like a $20 tip and like, oh shit, yeah, it's very that.
have you been on
my.
Chatterbait yet?
I have. Well, before Drag Race, that's how I paid for my wardrobe.
And the things we learn.
I love this. Why is there so much shame around sex? Thank you for bringing to our attention, not about global warming, not about all things going with nuclear war.
The future
demise-
is nigh. The apocalypse is upon us.
Sex robots. Yes.
Sex robots coming
right.
to get you.
Dildo wars.
We are now at the very important
Teledildonic dildo war.
Damn.
number 2.
Number 2.
Shape of Water.
Oh, yeah.
So it just BAFTA just came out with their nominations and their leading nominations for BAFTA, which
Remind me
is
which one is BAFTA.
BAFTA is basically the British Oscars. And the movie's so great. And Guillermo del Toro, who's the director, I love him so much because he's from Guadalajara and my husband's from Guadalajara. And I introduced him the other day. And it was so sweet because they start talking Spanish and talking about tamales.
That's cute.
So then when he won a Golden Globe and he came back, because I was doing a live show for the Hollywood Reporter, the after show, and Guillermo came back and we're like hugging. And I was like, oh my God, I was telling everyone that he's from Guadalajara, my husband's from Guadalajara. And I started to do the Guadalajara song. And my mother-in-law is in town and was watching, and she knows no English, but of course she knows Guadalajara song. Yeah. She was so excited
That's
that
cute.
I got this man who she doesn't know who he is to sing Guadalajara. But Shape of Water is so beautiful, and you have to see it on the big screen.
And Octavia Spencer.
Sally Hawkins plays a mute. Yeah, mute.
Yes.
Don't talk. No,
right, mute.
Yeah, right. Oh, but could she hear? Maybe she could hear. I can't remember. But anyway, she's amazing. Richard Jenkins plays this gay guy. It takes place in the 60s or 50s?
Yeah.
And basically it's this creature that, the government has found.
It's like the creature from the Black Lagoon, sort
Yes,
of.
and
Or
that's-
the creature from the Blue Lagoon, because it's a love
Right.
story.
And that's the inspiration, actually, that Guillermo for years had wanted to do a Black Lagoon story. He wanted to do a Beauty and the Beast where like the beast doesn't turn into some boring prince, is what he says. And
She falls in love with the actual
she
the creature.
falls in love with the creature man,
Yes.
and the creature man is hot.
Well, wait, can I tell you who the creature man is?
Go
Do you
ahead.
know who
I
the
know
creature
he
man
is, yes.
The creature man, this will excite you, this will get you in the seat. The creature man, oh God, look at it pour out there. The creature man is from Hocus Pocus. He was Billy Butcherson.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
I know
Doug,
that he was
Doug Jones. Not the Senator Doug Jones, but that's his
And
name.
he was
Doug Jones.
so cute in Hocus Pocus. He was just adorable. And now he's the creature of your dreams
Now
in
he's
Shape of
sexy
Water.
And he's been other creatures too. He works with Guillermo del Toro a lot. But this creature, it's so amazing. It's like he's this amphibious. Is that a word?
Sure.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
And he's in the water. And they fall in love, but he's kind of hot. He has like this really hot body because he's a swimmer.
Okay.
And I've spoken to Sally Hawkins, and like all she could do all day is just touch his butt.
Yeah.
Like, little Sally Hawkins is so cute.
But
She's
that
like
was in
this little-
character?
No, I think she said she was getting upset when people were touching his butt. Don't. Me too.
No.
Me too.
At
Sea creatures.
Sally Hawkins.
Me too. Sea creatures.
Me too.
And it's really good. And you have to see it on the big screen. And what's also amazing is the movie was not made for a lot of money. It was only $19.2 million, which is
You
like
think that at this point,
nothing.
Guillermo del Toro would have proven himself with Pan's Labyrinth and all those other
And
movies.
Pacific
that,
Rim.
That people would be throwing money at him.
And right-
It's a shame that they aren't.
It's because it was such a risky project?
Yes, and what he really loves is that he came under budget.
Good
he
for
went to
him.
the studio and he was like, "I actually came in under budget." Like
He came in and dropped
200,000.
like Goldie Hawn in First Wives Club. She came in and she dropped 2 quarters. Boom.
I like
There.
that. I'm an actress. I
So-
have all of them.
The Shape of Water. You have to see it. It's so good. If you haven't seen it, speaking of water,
Are there
oh my
any
God,
other
it's
movies
boring.
that we should see that
Black
you love?
Panther is coming
Talk
up.
about Black
I haven't-
Panther
yeah,
quickly.
I haven't
Squeeze
seen
it
it.
in.
Black Panther is just all black superheroes, like history making, unbelievable. It's going
It's
to
like
be
a
so
Marvel
good.
or something?
It's a Marvel
I'm
movie.
really excited about
And
that.
who plays him?
Boswick Chapman. Boswick. I
Okay.
think I'm saying it right.
Chadwick
Bosman. Yes, Chadwick Boseman.
We got it.
Plays him. I interviewed him once, and I was like, so tell me about having the nails on for Black Panther. He's like, the claws.
The claws.
Will you be going to the premiere or anything?
I hope so. I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. Sterling K. Brown is in it, from This Is Us.
Yes.
Another person that I interviewed the other night at the Golden Globes. Winner. And he said that he almost started crying because there would be all the trailers lined up, and they'd call like, okay, we're ready to work now, and everyone coming out of the trailers was black. The director is black.
It's gorgeous.
And he said it was just this amazing moment where like he read Black Panther when he was a kid. He's like, I never thought this was possible.
That's
so it's
badass.
pretty,
I've always sort of been a little irritated. There I go.
Oh, there we go. Here comes the flu.
With especially because DC did the same thing when they would have like Black Lightning, and the fact that you can't just have an African American character without putting the word black. It has to be Black Lightning, Black Panther.
Right.
Why can't they just be a Panther? Why can't they just have Lightning?
Yeah.
Like. It always feels a little tokenistic to me.
Yeah.
Right, I see that. But that's how they originally started.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I do think this is a fantastic place where we're at, where this show is going to be
And just
fantastic.
to squeeze this in, the movie that I'm kind of excited to see, and I have mixed feelings. I've seen the trailer, is Proud Mary.
Oh, I cannot
Taraji B.
wait
Henson,
for
yeah.
Proud
I
Mary.
love her. Like, I
Love
think she touched
her.
The billboards are fantastic.
Love the billboard, love
trailers
the
are
art.
great.
It's
The
very like her
trailer is
afro,
great.
but it's all guns. Here's my only concern, having not seen it, is the trailer is so violent. I keep thinking women are finally going to getting like the leading roles in action adventure movies, and that's fresh and that's good, and that means that they can make the same money as men, but they still have to sort of like blow away the same amount of people.
Like Atomic Blonde.
I have my mixed feelings.
Charlize
Yes.
Theron.
Yeah.
So
Which I
anyway.
saw on the plane coming back recently, and I really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it. I didn't really understand the story, but
I didn't understand,
really
but the
enjoyed
outfits
it.
were fabulous, and her blonde hair
and
was
that's
marvelous,
Proud
and-
Mary, like the
Yes.
outfits, it's like all leather.
Sounds
and
like Drag Race. I don't understand it,
I
but
don't
the
know what- I
outfits
don't know
are
what the hell's
great.
going on, but
Speaking
and they
of-
all sound like drag queens.
Yes.
Proud Mary and
Yes.
Atomic Blonde.
There you go.
There you go.
Speaking of Drag Race, we're going to be talking all about it in our final segment where we name the number one thing this week that made us go, wow. You're listening to the Wow Report on Radio Andy, SiriusXM. We'll be right back.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the Wow Report. I am here with Marc Malkin,
Hi.
entertainment reporter, Adore Delano, star of RuPaul's Drag Race. Blake, our fabulous millennial producer, is here.
I'm here.
And James St. James, who was with us the entire show, has left coughing and yelping, and he has a plane to catch or something.
Finally.
Yes. The truth comes out. But
I'm getting a little
we have
worried, I have
been
to say.
counting down the top 10 things that make us go wow, and we are at that coveted spot number one.
Number one.
We're going to talk about, sorry about it, RuPaul's Drag Race
Don't be
All
sorry.
Stars 3 coming back to VH1 a week from Thursday, January 25th. 8 p.m. on VH1. If you've seen any of the posters or the ads, its Thursdays are now golden. RuPaul looks amazing, and some of the most coveted queens are back. And who better to have on our show to help us talk it out than an all-star who was there for an episode and a half?
I don't belong here.
Adore Delano.
Yeah.
So right now, 9 queens have been announced. I know someone who works on the show. So there may or may not be a 10th queen that's
Right.
coming, but that's a big surprise. Don't tell. But I'm going to go through the queens who are there, and I want to get your honest reaction because you tour with these. Tell us if you know them, if you tour with them.
Yeah.
You know.
And if they deserve to be on All
Okay.
Stars.
So first, from season 9, returning is Aja.
I just seen her last night. I love her. I partied with her in London, and she's a good time girl. She's a all around amazing queen, and I mean, my hat's off to her. She's a little baby, like.
Yeah. I mean, I think, Aja in her season 9, everyone thought she was going to come. She was going to
Right.
win. She
Yeah.
was the internet queen.
Right, the little
And-
Instagram girl.
And she showed up, and she choked a little bit, which can
Yeah.
happen. That doesn't mean you're not a great
happens.
Yeah,
queen.
it's scary.
It is scary. And then I think what earned her all-star stripes was the reunion.
Oh yeah, wait, when was the reunion? I'm trying to
Season
think.
9 is when Valentina. Well, she had the two. First, it was like the meltdown in Untucked,
Yeah.
where it's like you
You're
look
beautiful,
like
yeah.
Linda Evangelista, and then that same spirit came back at the reunion where she was like changed when Valentina won.
Fan favorite or something?
She won Miss
Miss
Congeniality,
Congeniality,
right.
and Aja said, "Oh no."
I love that though. I love that. Like I want her to bring that and like to kind of like I would love for her like nerves to kind of like shake
Yeah.
off a bit more because she has so much to show. Like touring with her is like it's beautiful. The shit that she wears, I'm just like wow. Like that's
Yes.
and she's a good lip syncer too.
Next, Miss Congeniality Kennedy her season, Ben de la Creme.
My Libra sister from my season.
Did you guys work together?
Yeah, I lived in Seattle for a year, so I would see her a lot. Yeah, I love her. I mean, she again, she has a lot to prove as well. I think.
Yeah.
She's a character queen, so it's going to be interesting to see her personality kind of blossom a bit more, and I think she's more aware now since her season how to tap into that.
Yes, I think so.
I'm like, I hope, bitch, don't let me down.
We
bitch.
did a casting special that aired on VH1, and I think it's on a DVR or on demand.
Yeah.
But you forget until you see everything all clipped together.
Yeah.
The costumes, the performances. Ben de la Creme is a contender.
She is a queen.
She's a queen.
She's definitely up there for my.
Speaking of gag-worthy, Chi-Chi DeVayne.
Chi-Chi DeVayne. I'm going to be a Paula Abdul right now. I do like them all, and I've worked with all of them, and she's just, her personality is so, she actually, I jived with her the most her season because she was like, kind of like, I could share that personality of it. She's like very quirky and like cute
and getting criticized for
naive.
her looks.
Yeah.
And coming through with performance and personality.
Right. Her background story I related to a lot. She's just like, she's a good queen.
Every season there's a couple that really, I mean, everyone loves the queens, but that their storyline or their big hook is they won your heart.
Yeah.
Chi-Chi DeVayne is definitely a heart stealer.
For sure. She's a little heartthrob bitch.
What do you think of Miss Kennedy Davenport?
I like her. I don't really know her too well, but I've met her a couple of times in Dallas, and she's lovely. But
do you remember the lip sync with Katya where she jumped? She did a roar and she jumped off the thing and down the floor.
Right. Who went home? Did they both?
It was Katya went home.
Oh,
oops! But I think Katya's doing okay now.
Yeah, she's
she's doing really okay.
She's Gucci.
But Kennedy Davenport.
Yeah, she's a performer, man.
Seeing her perform at the reunions when she does the before thing, it's funny because sometimes your interviews on Drag Race in male drag are as important as your drag stuff.
Right.
And I felt like she was a little low energy.
For sure.
And I think that she didn't represent herself well. But Kennedy Davenport, they all have something to prove.
She's
which
so
sounds
legendary too. I didn't know. Like a lot of the girls look up to her. Like I didn't. Yeah.
And that's Davenport. Milk.
I like her a lot.
You love Milk.
I do love
Is it
Milk.
because you have a crush on Milk?
No, too manly for me.
Good to know.
No, I love Milk. I mean, she's from my season too. I have a soft spot for her. Like anybody, like her and Ben, we shared like the same exact experience at the same time. So it's like I want her to really thrive.
And in the promo, Milk is doing like this body
but
thing.
she's like, she's just how do you embracing that? You know what I mean? Because a manly queen's like what's like you know what I mean? She's embracing that.
And a Marc Jacobs model and
Madonna.
working with
Madonna model. Like, are you
Milk
kidding
may already
me?
have one.
Right.
On All Stars.
Good for her, man.
We're almost through. Morgan McMichaels.
I love her.
Now, Morgan is, what people don't understand, I guess it's an LA thing, but Morgan McMichaels is kind of the queen of LA, right?
She was like my drag auntie. Her and Mayhem Miller, they were like my they taught me how to do drag basically. So I'm really rooting for her. And
yes,
girls better be nice.
She's done a lot of things at WoW, and she's done a lot of things for WoW Presents, and like hungry.
Yeah,
ready to come back.
No, she's ready to snatch people's hair.
And she has my favorite in the promo. She has my favorite part. She's holding a heel, and she goes, "Competition." What competition? I'm like, yeah, this is Morgan McMichaels. And then, of course, we have the legendary Shangela.
I was just at Bianca's house with her the other day, and we are like literally throwing up laughing. Like she's so fun to be around and to watch on TV. She just does not die. She comes on every episode of Drag Race. Okay, she's just coming back every season.
2 seasons. She's popped out of boxes. She's been underneath Juju's face.
I mean, hallelujah, fuck it. I love that. She's a good time girl.
Did Thorgy Thor make your radar?
I don't know. I've never met her. I think I met her at DragCon one time, but she's like an Acid Betty. I don't really hang out with them or know them.
Yeah, but, I mean, for me, Thorgy Thor is one of those queens that leaves like in the first half of the show.
Yeah.
So you think, well, they weren't that. It's like, no. This is a fucked up game.
Yeah.
And so many good queens can knock out queens.
Right.
You know, it's like, and Thorgy Thor is the bomb.
Yeah.
Diggity.
She's a good queen. I mean, I'm telling you, I don't have anything bad to really say about any of them.
Speaks
except
her
for the fact.
mind.
So
And
what queens do you have something bad to say
There are a
about?
couple hoes out there.
Which leads us to Trixie Mattel.
I love Trixie. I tried. She's an asshole. I love her so much. Like she's fun, man. Like she's just a dick.
Yeah.
I love her.
And Trixie, of course, is working with Katya now on that show on Viceland. But it's an amazing. You know, All Stars 2 is pretty fucking awesome, including the fierceness and the drama that you serve. But this is a different group of girls, but they deliver in a different way. And All Stars, it's just so much fucking fun.
Yeah, but it's like like it's interesting to see the dynamics because they all tour together now and they all know each other.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it because I mean, like I was like, now we have like Alaska's like my fucking sister. Like I'm gonna fight against this hoe. Like no, but it's interesting to see like what personalities come out and how comfortable they are with that because it's.
So if there is a 10th Mystery Queen to be announced on the premiere night. I mean, I would bring back Adore. Wouldn't you bring back Adore? Does you think like Adore
Is that why she's here right now?
needs her
Is that
redemption?
why she's here
Is this
right
a
now?
clue? Is this an
clue?
Easter
Let me
egg?
get my veneer
This is a big
fixed
Easter
An
egg.
Easter egg? Is this a mystery
Get
resolved?
my chipped tooth fixed real quick though, and then I'll come back.
Other than Adore, is there anybody you would want to see back? You don't know. You have no inside information.
I don't have any inside information, and now I feel like I've been tricked.
That's the point.
I'm trying to think. I would like to see Valentina redeem herself.
All right.
Because
I would
Wouldn't
like to
that
see
be
them
good?
because I want to see them just destroy her.
so much
I
more
just.
personality that now I got to like hang out with her.
Oh, my husband was not into her.
I know.
And then, just like, girl, take that mask off. Like,
I know.
And I thought she was going to do this whole thing with the mask and it was going to be a reveal or something.
Right.
And like she had like plump lips or something.
She showed some vulnerability.
Yeah,
That
but
wasn't
like
vulnerability. That was
even
stupidity.
I was angry because when she took the mask off, she didn't paint. That's what I was like. She didn't paint her.
She was
butt.
not counting on
She was-
taking that
Right.
mask off.
That was glued, and then you see what's her name, like learning the lyrics, and I'm like, why is that headphone not in your ear? Like
I know.
if you're about to lip sync, you learned that in the hotel.
If you can be part of a controversy that lasts this long, you are an all-star. I'm not saying
Right.
Valentina's
Yeah.
coming back. I'm saying she
love
might be.
it. I love her
Or it
look.
might be Adore.
I think that door is closed for now. We'll
All right,
open it up.
we've come to the end of the show. There's so many things to plug. As I said, All Stars 3 coming back January 25th, Thursdays at 8. Trixie and Katya's coming back January 24th, Wednesdays on Viceland at earlier, right?
Which is fucking
like at 10 or
hilarious.
something, or
Yeah.
11. You'll figure it out. There's also RuPaul's Drag Con LA 2018, May 11th, 12th, and 13th, and so many things. Thank you, Radio Andy, for having us here. If you are listening in your car and you want to see what we look like, you can see us on YouTube, the Wow Report. But until the next time,
Take care of yourself and each other.
go out and do something that makes the world go wow. You got it.
I got it on that one.
Bye.